Welcome. New year, new you, new golf drills on the internet from YouTube coaches that are creating solutions to problems that never existed. I have tried almost every drill on the internet. Not literally, because there's like millions. But I've tried a lot of drills in my pursuit to get better. And I am going to give you my tier list of good iron drills that the average golfer can use. And that's it. That's everything. Anyway, let's start off with a very simple drill, 3/4 swing drill. Now this one is one of my favorites, and that's why I'm starting with it. The 3/4 swing drill is pretty much what it sounds like. Now there's a couple of, ideas behind it. One is 3/4 take back, or it's 3/4 tempo. I like to combine both of them just because the drill really gets me into the rhythm. So that's maybe 3/4. That was pure. The idea behind this is it's very helpful in making better contact with the ball, and it helps you get better in sync with your whole body. I would rate that probably around, we're gonna start off hot with an S tier. If you don't know these tiers, S tier is generally the best tier there is. And then there's A, and there's B, C, D, and I think F. This drill became very popular once an old video of Tiger Woods talking about, I think, Butch Harmon's pause drill came into light a while ago. It's not it's not an uncommon drill, but I'm going to credit that video as the one that really blew it up, because now everyone steals that information from that video and says it's their own idea. Anyway, you're just doing your backswing as normal, pausing at the top. Now you could be like Ben Krupa and do that during your swing, but you don't need to. It's just, you're pausing at the top. Let's make sure you're in a good position and swing down and through. And that obviously was terrible contact. And that is one of the difficulties with the pause drill. Now for the average golfer, I think this is a pretty good drill to practice because it helps you understand your downswing a little bit better and slow things down, which I'm a big fan of. But I would probably rate it like an A. Really focusing on a smooth downswing can be difficult for the average golfer. It's very important, and I think the benefits of doing it are pretty good, but I think if you have somebody that knows what they're doing in your swing to help correct your swing, then it's probably gonna be more helpful. So for the average golfer that is just doing it on their own, I'd probably rate it an A, because if you do it in the mirror, you can see where your hands are at, but you can also just do it at the range. It doesn't really take anything with you. It's very easy, anyone can do it, and you're good to go. Another popular one that I see all the time on Instagram and YouTube, and it is the step through drill. The idea behind it is, and I'm going to ideally, let you figure it out and see, YouTube, so they can explain it clearly better than I can. But the idea behind it is it's helping you with your weight transfer to your front foot. As you're coming down, you stomp down or you step through the swing. Now it's good because it gets your weight off your back foot, which is helpful for most golfers, especially if you find yourself stumbling back during your backswing, which I see a lot of people do. However, it kind of breaks the flow of your normal golf swing. If you're taking too big of a swing on your own, too big of a step on your own, right? If you're shifting your weight too much and just really swinging through, obviously your contact may not be the focus of this drill, which is fine, and your weight shift is, but it doesn't also really promote turning the hips through the ball, in my idea as the average golfer. I think it's effective for learning how to get off your back foot, but I think there's probably more effective drills, so I would give it a B. Anyone can do it. It's very straightforward. It's not complex, but I think there's probably more effective drills out there than that one, especially if it's, I need to get off my back foot, but I need to turn my hips and not just shift in front of the ball, which I can imagine would be a habit of people doing. Let's talk alignment sticks. Now I don't have an alignment stick, I have a 4-iron, but let's say it's an alignment stick. The alignment stick, I'm just gonna give it an S tier straight off the bat. It is something that almost every single golfer in the world can benefit from. Professionals use it all the time. It's very simple. I don't know if you classify it as a drill, but I would. Now, I stand behind it, I put the alignment stick down, I know where my target is, and I just put my feet parallel to it. And it's something that most people can benefit from. So it's very simple, very effective, instant S tier. If you don't have an alignment stick, you can use a golf club like I'm using. And it's something that probably almost every person could do. Continuing off an alignment stick is another drill that I saw from Trotty Golf. Even though I don't think he invented it, I'm crediting him because that's where I saw it first. Now I don't have my alignment stick, but you don't necessarily need it. You could just lay your alignment stick down, or you can stick it in the ground in front of you. But the idea about putting it in front of where your target is to help you learn how to shape the ball. Because now I know I need to start the ball to the right of that target or to the left of that target. If I want to hit a draw, well, I'm gonna hit it to the right of it and bring it back around. Or if I'm hitting a fade, I want to start it of learning how do I get the start line down, which is a lot of the problems in most people's golf swing, especially mine. If I'm hitting a draw, a lot of the times I'll pull it so my start line is either on that stick or to the left of it, and then it's going left. So the idea of, all right, I'm gonna hit a draw, I wanna hit it to the right side of that alignment stick and then bring it back. It's very simple. And I did. In combination with an alignment stick on the ground, I would say that's probably an S tier. On its own, I would say it's probably, I want to say S, but I'm going to say A, because I think most people don't necessarily need to learn how to shape the ball too much. But I think if you're playing one shot shape, I think it's a really good way to get your start line down, packed on where I want it to go. So if I play a fade, I know all I have to do is start it to the left every single time. It's very simple. If you have an alignment stick standing out of the ground, it's also a little bit more simple because it's standing up as opposed to laying down. I put little clips and pictures from other things on there, but I would say an A out of that. If you have two alignment sticks, one for your feet, one for your target, I'd probably bump it up to an S because then it gives you the good alignment of where my feet are and where the start line is. Oh, nice little beautiful fade. I might as well continue with alignment stick drills. It is where they stick the alignment stick in the ground, and then it comes out on the swing plane. Well, this is a little makeshift one, but it comes out on the swing plane, and you either stay under it or go above it sometimes. I'll put little clips in it because I don't have an alignment stick. And it's a very effective drill of getting you in the right plane of what you need to do. So if you get stuck under your body, well, then you can put it so you don't get stuck under, you swing over it. If you get stuck swinging over the top, well, then you can swing under it. Very simple, very straightforward. If you don't have somewhere to stick the alignment stick in the ground, or if you don't know the right angle, well then, it's going to be pretty tough to do. I don't have access to stick it on the right angle that I need. Also, I don't know the right angle that I need. You see people putting the alignment sticks through a little golf bucket, but I don't know if that's the right angle. I don't know if I am swinging over the top or under the top. I think it's probably more effective to film yourself, and you can work on it that way rather than do this drill. But if you have somebody filming you, or if you have somebody watching you, or if you have the proper setup for it, I know there's a little bit of tools that you can do for that. It's probably like an A. Straight away, just having an alignment stick, trying to do that drill, I'd probably rate it like a B or a C even for the average golfer, because it's probably more effective methods to stop swinging over the top rather than under. In addition to that, if you've seen the Tommy Fleetwood drill, where he has pretty much, where it looks like he's swinging his golf club through a china shop, where he's got 16 different setups. He's got the alignment stick on the ground, he's got a little box there, under, over, everything. Now that drill is probably something only he can probably pull off. Now I think if you were probably like a kid and you have the ability to just practice and practice and practice, that drill is probably like an S tier, because kids are very determined. They don't know the difficulty of things, they just do it and they learn it very well. So you're probably gonna be striping the ball before you know it. However, if you were like, ooh, that's terrible. If you were like the rest of us as adults, then it is probably a drill that no one should do besides Tommy Fleetwood. For the average golfer, it's probably like an F. It's probably too difficult, takes too much setup, and you just don't need to do it. There's easier drills, and I'll talk about them If you are a kid or if you are really trying to be like an elite golfer, it's probably like an S. The difficulty is probably also one of the hardest drills you could ever do. But for us average golfers, just don't do it. A better variation for the average golfer is probably a tee or gate drill. Like put 2 tees on the ground right outside of the club face, on the inside and on the outside, and you can make it as big as you need to as you build confidence. And then if you can hit the ball, cool. You're at the center of the club face. Very simple, very effective. I would probably say it's an A, because it's very simple. Anyone can do it. The only difficulty, the only annoying part is it can get annoying if you are constantly chasing the tee if you hit it all the time. And if you're using like a wood tee, then it could just explode and splinter and kind of get all over the place. But it's probably very effective. That was pulled. The next one is called the pump drill. And that is simply where you bring the club down to pretty much align with your leg before you start releasing the club. And you do that. And you can do that a few times without actually swinging through. And then you can do it when you're swinging through the ball. And then you go and you do it again. Very simple drill. You see Rory do it. You see most professional golfers do it just because they want to figure out, is my hands in the correct position on the downswing? I think it's probably, it depends. For the average golfer, I would probably say it's a B, because you can trick yourself into thinking you are in the correct hand positions on your downswing and you feel like, all right, I'm Tiger Woods at this point, right? Because it's very simple to put your hands from here to here. But from here to impact, that's where things get complicated. And then when you do the full swing, it's very easy to fall out of sync on, what you're actually doing. If you know what you're doing in the golf swing, if you're very knowledgeable about it, it's probably a very good drill to do. If you're not, for the average golfer, I think it's effective in getting your hands, at least getting the feeling of getting the hands into the right spot. And then eventually your body should take over and go into autopilot on, all right, this is where the hands should be on the downswing. But without that knowledge, for the average golfer, it's probably more effective uses of your time. I don't know the name of this drill, but I've seen Fleetwood do it. And it is simply not really getting much wrist hinge in it, and you're not really moving too much. So you're keeping your arms pretty much dead straight, dead hands, and you're not swinging all the way through to a full finish. There's a video on it. You can watch that to explain it better. It's a very effective drill for most average golfers, I think, because it helps you get into a good natural transition through your downswing with your own swing. So you're not really doing anything different. Helps you get better impact position, and it helps you get better contact with the ball at the right spot. So if I find myself constantly chunking the ball, so I can work on really slowing things down, not getting any hands involved, and working on the low point. Because most of the time, a lot of people have their hands too involved in the downswing, and you're flipping it and you're releasing it too early. With just dead hands during my swing, I know my hands are set, and it's through. I'd probably rate it an F, because it really helps you get better rotation and turn in your body and better low point control, which most people probably need. Obviously, I don't have a ball because I'm letting other people use the range because I'm very polite. Now, the towel drill is an idea to help you stop chunking the ball. I first saw this from Micah Morris, I think, back in the day when he was still on Good. But the idea is you line it up, put the ball right in front of the towel, and you do it in your normal swing, and then you just don't hit the towel. It's very straightforward, very simple, and most people carry a towel with them on their bag, so it's pretty easy access. There's some things I like about it and don't like about it. What I like about it is instant feedback, and it's very straightforward. Don't hit the towel, hit the ball. However, it caused me to get very steep with my swing because I was really focused on not hitting the towel. And I realized that I don't really like objects behind or near the ball when I'm swinging personally, and I'm too steep on my swing already as is, and this towel drill is not gonna help. So the other methods that I think are better than that one, I would rate that one as a B for me personally, But other methods that I think are a little bit better is if you get a little bit of foot spray, and you can spray a little line behind it, and then just don't hit the line. Very straightforward, very simple. I would rate that one an S. With the towel, I would probably rate it a B, just because towels can be a little thick and it's kind of annoying to reset up every time. If you have a little bit of a foot spray, then you just spray it again and you keep going. Very straightforward. You've probably seen Bryson's bunker drill. Making good contact, you draw a line in the sand and you hit and you swing through it. I'd rate that one a potentially like a D, because who has access to a bunker to use every single time to do that drill? Most people in the world, the average golfer, does not have access to a bunker, so we can't use that. If you do have access to a bunker for whatever reason and you can do that drill, it's probably really good. This is the hill drill. Now, if you have access to a hill or a slope, the idea is you swing your club and you don't hit the slope in front of you. So the slope would be in front of you a little bit here. I'll Photoshop a slope in there. Hill will be a little here, not too big of a slope. And it helps you just learn how to swing around your body a little bit easier. Brooks Koepka talked about it, how he does this drill to help him stop getting steep. And I think it is very effective, but the difficulty is having access to a hill. Now, most of the time you can find a hill somewhere and you don't need a ball with it, but doing that a few times, getting that repetition in is very effective. I would say it's probably an A. And it's probably an A because you don't have access to hitting a ball. So when you have to, bend down a little where it's flat in front of you now as opposed to elevated, you could just end up getting a little bit more steep again and kind of defeats the purpose. But getting the feeling for swinging around your body is very effective with that hill drill. So do that if you can find a hill. It's a drill I saw Nick Faldo do. And that is, you take your normal stance with the ball in front of you. You bring it back to an L position. You're about to make an impact, and that's your new start point. And from there, you just swing, and that's it. It just helps you get your hands in the right spot. You can get a good feeling of what are my hands doing during my backswing. Swing it up, swing down. It's very straightforward. I would say it's an S because it's very simple, very effective, and not too complicated. Anyone can do it, and it gives you a good feeling of getting your hands in the right spot, at least from my idea as the average golfer. So try that out. I saw Rick Shiels talk about this a while ago when he was still doing instructional videos on YouTube. And it's just moving the ball one ball ahead of the other ball. And the idea of that is you take your normal stance, normal position that you normally would, you put the ball a little bit ahead, and now it's forcing you to swing down and through your normal, where the normal ball would be, and hitting the ball that is ahead of where normally your ball would be. It helps you just make better contact as opposed to hitting behind the ball, which is what most of us are trying to do. Very straightforward, very simple. However, I would probably rate it as an A, unless you have maybe a B, unless you have an alignment stick, because you don't know if your ball position is in the right spot anyway. So if your ball position is already too far ahead from where it could normally be, but then you're moving it even further ahead and your swing could get really out of whack. Or if it's too far behind, well, now all of a sudden you're just hitting it normally. So you really need to know where your ball position is and where it should be, quote unquote should be, and then you could go from there. If you know where your ball position is normally and where it should be, well, then it's very effective. If you don't know where it is, for the average golfer, I probably rated it a B, because I think a lot of people have the ball position move around in their stance probably more than it needs to, more than it should. So getting it into a spot where, all right, I'm a little bit more consistent is probably a good way to go about it, at least to learn. So if you can learn where the ball position should go, that should be the first thing you do. And then working on putting the ball a little bit further ahead of you. I used to do that drill a lot, and it really does help out. At least, and it helps out with not flipping the club, because if you flip the club, if you get a little too flippy, well, then you're gonna top the ball and then instant feedback, which I like. I like instant feedback. I like drills that aren't changing my swing, especially on my own. And that's what you should really try to focus on. I don't know how many drills I talked about in this video, but I mean, there's an infinite amount more, and there will be an infinite amount of new drills next year, but we don't need to worry about that. Now you'll notice that I did not have any drills on there that were listed as an F or a D, besides maybe Tommy Fleetwood's, because it's too difficult for the average golfer. In saving the worst for last, most of the bad drills I find are on Instagram. So let's go on Instagram and I'm going to find some F-rated drills, probably within like 45 seconds. Let's see. Most of the drills come from people that say, I'm a +6 handicap and this is the drill that got me to shooting 54s on every single round, despite never giving any evidence for their actual +6 handicap, +5 handicap, +7 handicap that they are talking about. Anyway, I'm not saying anything about these Instagram coaches because some of them are very good. But the idea with Instagram is it's short form content and people are just kind of flooding the social media space with drills for problems that don't really exist, with solutions that aren't even that effective. So the drill that I just saw was, you take the club back, you lift your heel off the ground so your toe is coming down, and then you do a downswing and put your foot back on the ground. Now that's an F because, I mean, what's the point of it? You're kind of, it seems like you're creating a problem to create a solution for it. Instead, you could just keep the weight on your toe on the inside of your foot rather than, you know, the outside. I don't know. It's an F tier drill, no offense. There's also a few drills that I've seen where you put an alignment stick in your belt buckle. You know, you're kind of swinging around it, swinging through it, and don't hit the alignment stick and things like that. I think they're also probably around it like a D. Every drill can be effective. But for the fact that it's kind of cumbersome and you're focusing more on this object that you're putting on yourself rather than just looking at where the ball is going, right? So if you're taking your swing back and you have an alignment stick here and you're hitting the alignment stick, well, now I'm working on how do I not hit this alignment stick, or it's just swing your swing and just figure out where's the ball going. And that's why most of the best drills for the average golfer are figuring out the very simple basics of getting the ball on the right start line and getting the ball and getting your alignment right. Most of everything else is getting your own swing into a comfortable spot, but really figuring out just where's the ball going. Just hit some balls, pay attention where the ball is going, put an alignment stick down, and it's more effective than 95% of drills. Anyway, that's it. Until next time.